Okay, we're finally we're finally back. The off season is over. Um, Vikings are starting up training camp. I believe today is the day that all the veterans report. The ones who haven't already, quarterbacks are there already, rookies are there already, um, and now everyone's there, and we're ready to roll. This has been a very boring off season, and there hasn't been a lot of stuff to make videos about. Like I just forget how to do this. You know, you know, it's been probably the least newsworthy Vikings off season in many years because there was no coaching change, there was no major free agent signings, there were no trades, there were you know it's really just you know the big news was the guys departing, the Kendricks and Thielen and Cook and um, but we're back. Maybe we'll start to have some actual news now. There have been some things going on with the Vikings. I guess Daniil Hunter did report to camp today. Um, he hasn't signed yet. That's kind of the big thing hanging over him right now. Boy, that fan is really blowing my flag around. But it's hot. I need the fan. It's very hot. Had a little week to start training camp with 100-degree temperatures coming. But um, yeah, he hasn't signed a new deal or restructured a new deal. So we'll see what happens there. But the fact that he reported it all, that's probably a good sign. Obviously, I hope we keep him. We've got money. We've got salary cap space. I think it's like 16 million or something like that. Now we might use some of that because we might have a JJ extension coming up. We might have a Hawkinson extension coming up, and you could put some of that money into this year, um, and do it that way. But I would hope they keep Hunter because Brian Flores is going to have his work cut out for him as is, and if you take away Daniil Hunter without getting something back, that's not going to be good. Of course, a few days ago, Jordan Addison got busted for going 140 miles an hour down the freeway. Became a weird controversy on Viking social media for a couple days. I've never seen more people saying, pretending that like going 140 miles an hour is a normal activity. Like it's not. Apparently, he claims it's because there was a medical emergency with his dog, but he didn't say that right away. He didn't say that for a few days, so I'm a little skeptical about that. Um, and then I was gonna do a review video of the Netflix series, the quarterback that had Kirk Cousins. A lot of people were talking about that. I thought that was a terrific show. Really, obviously it was hard reliving the playoff loss. I'm still not over that. That was like 6 months ago. I'm still not over that shit. But um, I thought it was a very, very good series. It really showed again people who underappreciate and rip Kirk, you're just wrong. But now we're on to the new season. And heading into camp here. Aside from the Hunter situation and maybe a couple of extensions, what are we looking for? It's a lot of usual stuff. It's camp battles. I mean, I'm certainly interested in seeing this Jaron Hall they drafted if he can play at all. I'm sure he'll get a lot of action in the preseason. If it's anything like I mean, those preseason games just get less meaningful every year, but it'll be a lot of the backups and rookies playing. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if he can play. Because we got two home preseason games this year, Titans, Cardinals, and then they're both going to be here at camp doing some joint practices. Well, maybe I'll try to get out to one of those. Wouldn't go this week, not at 100 degrees. But obviously, there's guys that we have to replace who we lost, for age and cap reasons. Is Addison going to be able to step in right away? Is he, because he had like some undisclosed injury during during like mini camp, and he didn't get any action. I It seems unlikely that he's going to be like wide receiver 2 right away. I think it's going to be Osborne, um, and we'll see what how long it takes Addison to get up to speed. I was skeptical of that draft pick. I'm still, I don't care. A lot of people are still ripping Addison for the "let's get paid" comment. I don't care about that. Like, whatever. I care more about just, can he play? Even if he's a moron, can he play can he play at a pretty good level for a few years? Can he be like a Percy Harvin type? Um, but we'll see if he can play. You know, we got the new running back committee. Madison came back, so he'll be leading the way with some young guys there. Oops, see, I'm out of practice for even how to hold this. Um, and obviously, like, the big number one thing for the, maybe not for camp so much, but for the season, is Brian Flores. What can he do to turn this defense around in one off season where there have been a lot of departures? Now, we don't know that those departures are going to hurt that much, because they had a fucking horrible defense last year. Like, when you have a defense that bad and you lose players, I mean, I guess it can technically get worse, but I think just better coaching, and if I will renounce everything if Brian Flores is worse than Ed Donatel. And I knew it with Ed Donatel. He was just here to cash a few paychecks. I don't believe he's got another job right now. That was a retirement job. He was just cashing fucking paychecks. He didn't give a shit. He was out the door to retirement. He didn't care. He wasn't going to coach. Brian Flores, he's going to be motivated because he still has aspirations to become a head coach again. And people are worried, like, oh, what if he does a really great job and leaves after a year? Well, if he's done a good enough job to leave after a year, then this defense has made a big improvement, and that's okay. And there's probably somebody under him on the staff that could even step in then. But I mean, I always lean optimistic with the Vikings, but if this defense is just middle of the pack, maybe that's too much to ask. Maybe that's going to be too much to ask for Flores to do with a lot of young pieces and assorted veterans. Like, yes, I think this can be a team that can contend for a Super Bowl. I do. I'm not one of these people who's just weirdly assuming that because last year they won some close games that they can't be good this year. I don't get that at all. This all, they're not going to go 11-0 one-score games again. Well, maybe they won't have to play one-score games all the time if their defense is good. Because I really have no doubts that the offense is going to be very good. They've lost a couple players, but I'm not worried about the offense. Cousins finally gets a second year in a system, which has like never happened, I think, in his whole career, at least not here. We still have JJ. We still have, I think, some good running backs. We still have Hawkinson. Hopefully, we get a little more improvement on the offensive line. Ed Ingram, year 2. Hopefully, he can take a step up. Injuries are always the thing that can derail everything, and we've had major injuries happen during, camp and preseason before. But I'm not worried about the offense. The offense is gonna be very, very good. They could be one of the best offenses in football. Can the defense do their part? Occasionally last year, even as bad as they were, they did their part. They sure didn't in the playoffs. They sure didn't in a few other games where if the defense even showed up a little bit, like that Detroit game that they lost, the defense was terrible. If the defense shows up in that game, they probably win that game, and maybe they're not maybe they're not playing that first game. Maybe they had a bye. Maybe they're getting a home field situation. I think this team can do that if they have a better defense. And they had They plucked the best coordinator you could get, out there, and I think that could be the move of the offseason. And I'm very optimistic. I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic because realistically, how much can you improve a defense in one off season? You know, we've seen big jumps before, like Mike Zimmer's first year. He inherited a horrible defense and made him pretty competitive. If Flores can do that, this team will win the North again, and they will compete for a Super Bowl. We won't know. We won't know that for a while. If we're still in July, it's July 25th or something like that. We don't have a game that matters until September 10th, where we're going to be rocking those fabulous throwback jerseys. By the way, I love those things so much. So yeah, we're back. Videos. My very loyal audience, which I'm sure is out there. I'm sure you've been missing me all off season, but we'll maybe start having some stuff to make videos about again. Try to be a little quicker with them this year and not go on for hours. But yeah, hopefully we have Vikings football to talk about in a present tense sense into February. That's always the hope. But for now, let's just see what happens with camp. No injuries, none of that, and let's see what we got cooking.